If you're on vacation, I hope you brought your WundaCore, because I sure did. We're going to work out today with things that I found at the hotel gym, and of course, our WundaCore. We're going to start with a wide stance, softly turned out feet. WundaCore is overhead. We're going to inhale, fanning our ribs, fanning the right side, exhale coming up, fanning the left side. The idea is to find openness and space in your spine. Maybe you were on a plane, a train, a boat, maybe a long car ride, but we just want to open space in our body, mobilizing the spine, arms overhead with our shoulder blades melted down, and sending energy inbound on the WundaCore. We're going to exhale, going into a little knee bend. I opened my feet a little bit wider here to go into those plies. The knees are bending, but the intention is coming from the base of the pelvis. Sitting bones go broad, ribs stay stacked right on top of your pelvis as you exhale down. We're going to rise up and go into a little spinal fold forward, exhaling as we round, inhaling back up. Other direction, exhale, round down, curling through the front, and inhaling, rising all the way back up to standing. All right, go ahead and grab your dumbbell if you have one. And we're going to go into a lunge on the right leg. Right leg is forward, parallel, and we're going to step the left leg back behind us. We're up on the ball of our left foot. Nice, great big step. Right knee is just in front of your ankle crease, and my right hand is on the squishy bit of the WundaCore, and it's connected to my thigh a few inches above the knee. Try to find your best diagonal line here from your head all the way through your pelvis and the left heel behind you. The dumbbell's in the left hand, and we're going to start with some arm raises. We're holding the lunge steady. Inhale, left arm glides up alongside your ear. If that is accessible to you, it can be a smaller range of movement if that is better choice for you and your shoulders today. Thinking about your right hip stretching away from your right knee, making sure your right knee is aligned, big toe, second toe, and just in front of your ankle crease. It's going to help us find inner thigh connection and then deeper core connection. Inhale as the dumbbell raises, and exhale as you slowly decelerate it and bring it back down to your left hip. We want to keep the navel up and in. We want to keep the pubic bone up and in, and just general core engagement and intention through the spine. The right shoulder is imprinting down. That is going to catch into the left waistline. And we can start creasing and melting the left knee down. So we're going to keep the front side of the left hip open. And I like to think about my left knee dipping down as if I could reach a little pile of sand on the floor. So it's up to you how deep you go, but the idea is to really find openness and space through the front side of the left hip, through the deep abdominals, and find length and stretch through the whole body. We're moving through the top of the right thigh bone rather than so much through the right knee. The right knee will change, but it is the right hip mobilizing and the left hip opening. That whole time the arm can be up by your ear, or you can bring it down if that's a better choice for you. All right, we're going to go into some side bending work with a balance challenge. So set the dumbbell down. The WundaCore is the long way under your right hand. You're on your left knee and your right leg is extended forward. Inhale as your left hand comes up and over, and you take a side bend towards the WundaCore. So the left ribs fan open, the left arm reaches up, and the right arm is likely going to need to bend a little bit, engaging through the triceps, through the shoulder, through the waistline. You can adjust that WundaCore if you need to. Exhaling to arc to the side, exhaling as we lift, and inhaling as we arc. So we're fanning through the ribs, trying not to collapse into the right waistline. I'm going to show you from a little bit of a different angle so you can see what's going on from a different perspective. So WundaCore is under my right hand, right leg is extended. And as we arc over, we want to stay as organized as possible, opening through the ribs on the left side. And doing so, engaging the core without leaning into the left hip. So we don't want to kind of lean into that left hip and sink away from the WundaCore. We want to stay as centered as possible. Melting the shoulder blades down and around the ribs. If it's not for you with that balance challenge, if that's feeling grippy or aggressive, you can always bring your right foot flat and your right knee bent like I'm showing here. Exhaling as we rise and inhaling as we arc. For this last one, we're going to hold on the arc and rotate the ribs up towards the sky. Hold for a few breaths here, unwinding some of that travel, opening some space through the upper back, and bring it all the way back to center. We are going to use the WundaCore to go into some abdominal focused work. We're going to take it just around the widest part of our calves. Grab a dumbbell if you have one and lay down on the mat. Make sure your knees and your toes are aligned, so you want to send some energy out on the WundaCore and maintain a neutral spine with your hip bones shining up and space like a breath or a ray of light under your low back. All right, we're going to exhale to pick the knees up into tabletop. We're sending energy outbound into the WundaCore, and the dumbbell is horizontal in your hands over your heart. Elbows are bent, kind of like you're making a circle. We're going to inhale as we peel the head up and off the mat, and then exhale as the shoulder blades raise. And go ahead and set it back down. Collarbones are wide. Inhale, head picks up, deep abdominal engagement. Exhale as we peel the shoulder blades up. The legs haven't moved. Set it down on that same exhale. And inhale to pick your head up. Exhale as you curl with length to rise, lifting from right underneath the base of the ribs. And slowly lower yourself back down. So I've got lots of energy happening through the WundaCore, through the legs. That's catching the outer hip, catching into the deep abdominals, connecting my core to the movement, or this, in this instance, the isometric challenge of the legs. You want the thigh bones dropping deep into the pelvis. You want the spine lengthening long, even as we curl. Finding space through the back line of the body, keeping the pelvis neutral. The pelvis hasn't changed the whole time. Elbows are wide. Now we're going to hold the abdominal curl up, keeping the knees and toes aligned. Notice that the intention is coming from the hip crease. So as the legs lower down, the front side of the hip crease opens for our little hip hinge, and then exhale, pick the legs back up. If your head is lifted, you're going to be able to see that your knees are aligned with your big toe, second toe. Make sure that's true. So your knees might want to tip in, or maybe your toes are tipping in. Make sure they are parallel. If it's feeling aggressive on your neck, you can set the dumbbell down and interlace your fingers underneath the base of your skull. Elbows are slightly forward, and we're moving through those thigh bones, swimming through a pelvis. The pelvis is not changing. You can think of it kind of like an ice cream scoop. So the top of the thigh bone is sweeping through. You can also take your arms along to your sides. There's lots of different ways to make this happen. And go ahead and set the feet down. We're going to slide the WundaCore off. I never work out with shoes. It's only because I'm at this hotel gym. Took me a second. All right, we're going to take the WundaCore back into our hands and place it behind your right thigh. So my right leg is in tabletop. Notice the WundaCore isn't touching my calf, so it's just a little bit below the knee joint. Left leg is long. And then I have a soft bend to my elbows because we're finding that kind of oppositional debate. So my leg wants to send the WundaCore away from me, and my shoulders are trying to send the WundaCore towards us. All right, here we go. We are going to use the hamstrings as the focus to extend the leg, and then we're going to peel into an abdominal curl. So lots of shoulders, biceps, deep abdominals, and asking for a really big stretch on the right leg. Now we're going to light up the left leg, and we're going to drop that thigh bone deep into the pelvis, hovering up to about a 45-degree angle. But you want to find this reach, right? So in this video on this trip, I was in Mexico, and I like to think about your leg like reaching through a wetsuit that's maybe a little bit damp, a little bit sandy, and a little bit too small. So it's like this push-pull sensation. As the leg goes up, your thigh bone drops in. Then we're going to go ahead and go into some bridges. Left leg goes back down, right foot is down. Now we have 2 feet on the mat. WundaCore is the narrow way between the inner thighs. Arms are long. Feet are flat. And then we're going to inhale, peel the tailbone, pelvis, low back, middle back, upper back. Pause at the shoulders, make sure we don't go onto our neck. And exhale, unwind, articulating down. So we're still focused on unwinding a lot of the tension and stiffness we can find through our shoulders, through our spine, through our hips. Exhaling on the way down. Inhaling, looking for length and mobility on the way up, opening the front side of the hips. And the WundaCore between the legs is just helping us connect to the deep abdominals via the inner thighs, connecting head to toe. Exhaling down and inhaling to lengthen, reach, and the arms are working a lot in the mat as well. We're going to inhale as we take the right arm alongside the ear, if that's possible. Take it as far as you can, opening through the shoulders. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, bring it down. So now I've chosen to kind of switch the arms mid-air. That's a good option. If you prefer to keep the support of one arm down, you can do one arm at a time. But the idea is really mobilizing the shoulder blades, keeping lots of space across the tops of the shoulders as we hold our bridge. Recruit your glutes a lot. Keep the front side of the hips open and the knees stretching away from you. If your arm doesn't get all the way down on the mat beside your head, that's fine. That is kind of the intention and the aim. Some days it might not happen, but see how far you can go and see if you can increase the mobility through the shoulder joints, through the shoulder blades, moving every time. Reaching knees long from hips, even out your arms, and we're going to melt down from behind the heart one more time, setting down the spaces between the vertebra. Phew. All right, let's go ahead and take that WundaCore now behind the left thigh. So the WundaCore is flat against your leg, not touching your calf or your knee. Elbows are bent, one abdominal curl. Rather than relying just on the knee joint, ask the hamstrings to extend the left leg really long. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. And then we're going to go into that wetsuit situation on the right leg. So we are going to inhale as we lengthen and pick the leg up. Exhale as we decelerate it back down. Both legs, can you rely even more on the hamstrings? Both legs. Ask for a lot of effort from the hamstrings, serving the legs into extension. Lengthening and reaching, thigh bones dropping deeply into the pelvis, holding that abdominal curl, and then we're going to exhale, bring the left leg back to tabletop, and let's go ahead and rise up with our WundaCore. We're going to go into the side bending on the other side. So again, you can have the knee bent or the left leg long. WundaCore is the long way under your left hand. Inhale as we fan the right ribs and arc. Exhale, bring it back to start. Inhale, open, find space in the body, and exhale, come back upright. So even though the left ribs are going to get closer to the pelvis as we arc to the side, that's just science, folks. We are going to make sure we're not collapsing. The left elbow can bend a little bit, and we're still aiming for length and space, all sides of the body. You should feel a lot of openness through the front side of the right hip. We want to invite the left thigh bone in while the hamstrings are opening and extending the left leg. Notice that my head is traveling with the spine, so your head stays in line with the spine, finishing that arc. Inhaling to arc. Exhaling, bring it back upright. I'm going to demonstrate the option of the bent knee. You can do that the whole time, or you can have a little bit of both. You can mix in both. It does not have to be all one way. Hold for the last one. Rotate the ribs up towards the sky a little bit, opening more space through the upper back. And go ahead and rise up onto your feet. We're going to take that dumbbell and it's going to go into our right hand. The WundaCore comes across the left thigh. We're going to lower into a nice lunge here through the left leg. We're going to bow forward, finding a beautiful diagonal from crown of head, through ribs, pelvis, all the way back to the right heel behind us. Intention down on the WundaCore and up on the WundaCore at the same time from your left hip and your left shoulder. And then we're going to work on mobilizing the right shoulder blade and the right shoulder again with that dumbbell. Inhale as we glide the arm up. The shoulder blade drifts down and around the ribs. And we can think about the left shoulder connecting to the right waistline. You might feel that even more as the right arm raises. Inhale, right arm raises. Exhale, decelerate it back down. Try not to rely on momentum. holding the right arm up. We're going to exhale as we lower the right knee down, opening the front side of that right hip. Inhale, come back up. Ribs are stacked on top of pelvis. You can have a little bow forward if you need to create space in your low back. Exhale, think about stretching the front side of your right leg, opening that hip. You can see here that I'm shaky. That's okay. It feels really good. That's the deep connection that we're finding, opening space in the body. Exhale down. Inhale, bring it up. And rise all the way onto your feet. We're going to go ahead and set that dumbbell down. And let's go ahead and finish with a little more opening through the hips, through the pelvic floor, and through the spine. So we've got options here. Step your feet nice and wide. We're going to go into a deep archetypal squat. You can have the WundaCore the tall or narrow way, or you can have it low. But what this is going to do is buy you several inches away from the floor. So I have my elbows inside of my inner thighs. I'm going to exhale, round and lift. Deep flexion forward. It's so delicious finding space in your spine. And then we're going to inhale, lower into that archetypal squat. Exhale, round and lift. Beautiful. As we open through the sitting bones, I'm going to show you from a little profile view. You can see a little bit better what's going on. Rounding, curling, opening space, lifting from under ribs. That's an exhale. Inhale as we sink the sitting bones wide down towards the ground. Especially if you have sensitive knees, focus a lot on the pelvis and the hips rather than knees. Then we're going to unfurl, open through the upper back. WundaCore is up above your head. Nice wide stance. Draw your navel up and in even when we are opening the upper back. Exhale, bring the WundaCore down. Thanks so much for working out with me. Hope you have a great trip.